All right, y'all. So had to jump back on here and do a post-fight discussion for this one here. Fatima Kline taking on Viktoriia Dudakova in her official debut. With her able to debut at her proper weight in 115. And y'all know I say that because she made her UFC debut against Jasmine Jasudavicius last year, and that was at 125, of course, and didn't go her way. But Fatima Kline definitely showed some heart in that fight, a lot of guts and toughness. So going into this fight, carrying over against a fighter like Viktoriia Dudakova, who I don't really see anything special in, I knew that Fatima Kline was going to have success in this fight. But the fashion it came in, honestly, man, like Viktoriia Dudakova kind of gave it to her. Let's be real, man. Like Fatima Kline had to work hard for it, but with bad with bad choices by Dudakova, it was just like Fatima Kline just showed her up in every department. And the one thing I said going into this fight, okay, if Dudakova's, she wants to win this fight, I think she's going to have to play the striker, the counter striker here. But what did she do? She played the grappler, which was a big mistake. We all know that Fatima Kline comes from the jiu-jitsu background, has a lot of success there. She's been in a lot of grappling tournaments, and that's what she started in. It wasn't really until, like some of her Invicta fights where you really seen Fatima Kline start to fall in love with her striking. But maybe it was something in that striking because right from the jump in round one, Fatima Kline, she was establishing a nice jab. Her balance was on point. Her footwork was solid right away. Just the opening seconds, she was throwing out the jab, measuring well, and connecting with that jab and throwing some low kicks. And maybe that just kind of intimidated Viktoriia Dudakova right away because right away in that opening minute, she shot for a takedown. And I was like, whoa, what is she doing? I was like, why is she trying to initiate the takedowns here? So she was using her strength, trying to put it on Fatima Kline, but Kline with her back against the cage did a really good job of getting the underhook and just really letting Viktoriia Dudakova wear herself out with this bull rush and all this pressure while she would just let her ease it to the ground. And then Fatima Kline was just using her IQ as far as the smart scrambles and the subtle transitions and just letting her opponent, initiate everything. And she would just kind of use her slickness and her IQ just to make these nice little transitions to where she could just wind up on top. And she just did a really good job of showcasing like her defensive grappling skills and turning it into offensive skills where Viktoriia Dudakova was just trying to get this fight to the ground. And then it was just like, okay, gets it to the ground, then what? She's lost, right? She tried for like one armbar attempt and Kline just slipped right out of that with ease. And then there was a part where Kline kind of gave up her back, but then boom, Kline's able to just turn right into the guard, transition into a full mount, and just end the round with some really heavy shots on Viktoriia Dudakova. So going into the second round, I thought Dudakova might have learned her lesson, but then what did she do? There was another part too in the first round where it went back to the feet, and Fatima Kline did a good job of like landing some inside shots. So I said, okay, yeah, Kline is really evolving in her striking. Like she landed some nice elbows. She landed like two good elbows that probably opened up the nose uh, of Dudakova. And then she went back to that long jab. But again, Dudakova wanted to, get the fight to the ground. So yeah, Kline welcomed it again in the first round and then winds up, just dominating in the grappling department as well. But then going into that second round, again, man, like Dudakova just went in for this takedown and Kline just accepts it and Kline winds up again just dominating here. She's just putting all the Dudakova's putting all the pressure on, but Kline is the one doing all the slick little moves here and landing like little nice elbows like you see here on top and even some hammer fists. And she's just really comfortable working in the guard and then transitioning to this half mount where Dudakova's just kind of struggling. And, she's just owning her, really just mauling her throughout the first round, going into like the last minute and, to the final seconds. Finally, she landed a big elbow that opened up a gash on the forehead of Dudakova. And you can see she just beat from there. And then Kline is just teeing off on her until the referee just has to step in and stop the fight. So yeah, man. Going into this one, I saw Kline as the favorite. I know a lot of people still aren't really that high on her, as far as like the hardcore fans. But I've been telling people I've been watching this girl and I knew that her jiu-jitsu was on point and her grappling was solid. But just watching her work on the feet and evolve on the feet, I knew Kline was going to be a problem for Dudakova. Now, I didn't know Dudakova was going to turn into a wrestler. I didn't know the striker. I didn't know the striking of Klein was that intimidating for Dudakova. But whatever she's seen in that opening minute, it just kind of forced her to want to grapple. But like I said, if you want to force a grappling match on Klein, that right there just kind of shows you that you didn't have a game plan. And I think it showed whenever Dudakova just decided to land a significant strike on her coach. And what's crazy is that was the biggest significant strike that she landed all night, was against one of her own teammates. So yeah, man. Shout out to Fatima Kline, for just showing different levels in this fight, wanting to start off on the feet, but showing that, hey, she can, still take it back to her roots and just out grapple someone that's big and strong and somebody just as tall as her. Because both of these fighters, they're a pair of tall straw weights. So moving forward, looking at Fatima Kline, as long as they move her along nicely and just match her up against different styles and different looks, I think that she could be a potential threat at strawweight, in the top 15. Can't say yet, I don't want to jinx it like that, but I do think that if Fatima Kline is able to dominate her next two opponents, then yeah, they can move her into like a top 15 fight against, one of the fighters like Angela Hill, Jillian Robertson, somebody like that, But like I said, you got to dominate at least two or three more opponents like this that are unranked. All right. But yeah, right now I do believe that Fatima Kline, she has everything that she needs right now to go in there and make a big statement. She has the height, the reach, she's not afraid to strike. And of course, she has her jujitsu on her side. So yeah, she's definitely like showcasing like that budding of a well-rounded fighter early on right now. So really she just needs to be tested. Like, can't really say she has bad defense yet. Can't say that she's scared of the ground or she doesn't have a jab. She has all of that right now. So it's just the fact that she needs to be tested against different styles to see how she adapts and against, tougher opposition, maybe like a Josephine Knudsen or like I said, Pietro Rodriguez. That would be a dog for her to fight. Julia Pelostri, those type of girls would be good. Then maybe a Demopoulos and so on, Sam Hughes, them type of fighters, right? As for Dudakova, man, I think, she just needs to kind of find out what her calling is as far as, her strength in MMA. Is she trying to be a striker? Does she want to be a grappler? Or, does she want to be a well-rounded fighter? Because she just made some bad choices in there last night. So that's all I got to say about her right now. That's her second loss in a row. But, of course, I don't think she needs to be cut yet. But I do believe she, is showcasing some signs of a green fighter that maybe this next fight will tell us if she is UFC material or not, or she's just in a bad place with a team right now. But guys, let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Shout out to Fatima Kline. Need more strawweights like her. Need more fighters like her. Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.